Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus The Riven Realms at the Heart of Ruin. We promised the guy in charge of the bountiful glade that we would help him with his his wound problem. We were also told that we should ask. Ooh, you can go into the dead forest. I wonder if you can get wood samples down here. There were some people we were supposed to talk to. I thought. Camp proper? Aha! This is what we needed to do. Attempt to talk to the workers and find out who it was that followed the strange, ragged wanderer Boethius spoke of. Very high chance of success. We succeeded. Over a number of hours, you go from group to group, worker to worker, and a warrior to wanderer. Much to your chagrin, none have a word of wisdom for you, and most are hardly respectful in the manner. The workers and slaves especially make a mockery of you and your commies. There are moments when you imagine you may have uncovered some hidden morsel of knowledge, that you are close to a group of reportedly loyal to the disheveled wanderer, but all avenues come up short. Then, investigative intuition pushes you a little further. You press one quieter slave in the hopes of learning more, and watch as the emaciated husk of a man unwittingly reveals himself. Didn't I say I didn't know no one? They was just a couple of fellas. We were sharing some food yesterday. You ask the poor slave where they can be found. You do it with an edge in your tone, spurring him into giving you the information you need. They're over there, the slave says, pointing. You thank him and his fellows, and then begin walking toward a cluster of tents nearby. Your pace is widening with each step. A hooded figure, obscured by a shabby surcoat, emerges from the tent, and you meet eyes for a moment. Then, breaking into a mad dash, the hooded man runs off to the side, weaving between tents and running toward the shack. You and your companions take off in pursuit. Oh, we get to bring our whole squad. We bring the A-team here. I have liked bringing Harvek instead of Javik here. You're still wounded, Skornar? By a lot. All right. Let's sub in Krifta and then we'll put Harvik in the front as well. Before he has entered the shack, the slave yells something into its open door and then turns to face you. In one fluid movement, he sheds the surcoat and draws a sickle, revealing an emaciated yet wiry frame crisscrossed with strange tattoos and markings. Moments later, a foursome of ragtag, rugged warriors pour out of the shack to stand by his side. Their armaments are primitive, yet the threat is still imminent. A look of shock crosses the slave when he realizes that the bountiful glade's guards have taken notice. In moments, the tables have turned. The motley crew break and bolt towards the edge of the dead forest with you in hot pursuit. A path inward appears to be carved out in front, but apparently doubting it, he turns back and sneers at you. You're dangerously close to the forest's bounds, but not fully exposed. Those of you who don't know, the forest has like this curse on it that if you go inside, you can be like corrupted, so you have to be careful. Perhaps he shares the fears of many and does not wish to push any further. Had to get your nose in a bloody business, didn't ya? He says, shaking his sickle at you. Always the way with your kind. You're always trying to keep the downtrodden in the mud. Well, we won't stand for it. We'll gut you limb from limb, another man chimes in, grinning as he points his spear towards you and your commies. Your companions need no words of encouragement. They charge into the fray, ready to repay words with actions. Dreamwalker, take you! The runner bellows, only to be cut short by one of your companions attacking. You guys picked the wrong fight. Our people are very, very, very dangerous. All right, I think we want to go for this guy, the tattooed dude, and then this guy is probably pretty dangerous as well. So let's try to stun this guy. It worked. Then let's throw down our wards. So this guy's a wraith. They're very difficult to hit, and they like to throw daggers at people. This guy is also probably pretty dangerous, the Ashlander. We want chain lightning. Yeah, very good. Gonna be very difficult to hit that guy. I'm gonna kick you to the back. Oh, I thought I could. Sorry. Try to bleed that man. He's gonna hit me with his bone? No, he didn't. He shoulder barged me. Joke's on you. I just rushed back in. And this guy, I don't think he can do anything from the back row. Yep. All right, some damage has been dealt. Let's try to stun this guy. We actually got him. That's amazing. I thought it was a long shot. Cut him. He's dead. Burn both of these dudes. They're both dead. And now we don't have to chain lightning anymore. We just straight up lightning bolt. And he gets one more attack. He did the same thing as before. I guess I could sword you. Kreefta's never in the front row. She doesn't get to use her sword that much. They got owned. As the battle draws to a close, your foes are reeling on the ground in their death throes. You realize that the once garbed slave is not dead, not yet. He scrambles to his feet, narrowly evading an attack from one of your companions, and turns away from the dead forest and begins running towards the camp's perimeter. It is a wonder he is still fit enough for such an action. Can you catch him? Yes. The runaway is no match for you and your Kome, so you charge forward, the wind at your backs, and tackle the crazed slave to the ground. In a rage, he turns to you, his bloody egregious wounds in combat telling you that his demise is imminent. You fire the questions that need to be answered most. Who is he? Who was the wanderer? And what are their plans? His reaction is to spit blood in your face. Ew! Momentarily thrown off, you order your Komes to push the man to the brink. He'll tell everything he knows or perish. You notice that a crowd has begun to form around the seed. Fools, I'll not speak to you, he blurts out between gritted teeth. What's coming, you won't survive it. The Dreamwalker makes all possible. He stands up for the downtrodden. He will bring glory upon this world. You push him further. What glory does he speak of? Already you can see that the slave has entered his death throes. From the wound, he hisses, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. A gateway between the promised land and here. You will be powerless. He trails off, finally giving into the death's embrace. Tell that fat bastard Boethius that cultists lurk among us, a familiar voice says. You turn to see that the barkeep from the shack, the greasy man appears furious. Need I say it again, Vagrus? He spits. This man is proof enough. These rats move among us. You consider the fellow a moment and then ask just what those thugs were doing in his bar. The barkeep has a reputation for keeping more extreme characters out of the shack. They were a loud lot, them, he begins. Thought good and hard about throwing the C words out. Still, they was buying and I was taking. Couldn't complain. How in Tartarus was a fellow like me, honest, decent man, supposed to know they were crazy cultists? Ain't none of my business, that. Like I said, tell that fat prick Boethius he's got a cult problem, and make sure he does something about it, yeah? Can't be having that now, can we? Get to it, Vagrus. Do you think I work for you? What the heck? Given the nearby crowd, you elect not to push the barkeep any further. His words of advice may merit a certain course of action too. It will be for you to decide. We might as well tell Boethius about it. You make your way across the bountiful glade, past the two guards at the entrance to the pavilion, and inside it is not difficult to find Boethius. The man is in back, lazing on one of his luxurious couches. Seeing you approach, he springs to his feet, a concerned look upon his mustached face. It is you, and you're back so soon! Gods, what happened? I can tell just from your face. Tell me, dear Vagrus, tell me everything. You begin to regale Boethius with all that has just happened. It begins by recounting what happened and why. You tell Boethius about the slave who revealed his tattooed frame beneath a surcoat, and how he called several warriors to him, ending in an altercation between him and your Komes. A cultist here? Boethius enunciates fearfully. Gods, I couldn't have known. And did he, well, reveal anything? I must admit, I heard of these types and fellows wandering around, but, well, what was I to do? There are an awful lot of workers out there, and I wouldn't have wanted to incriminate anyone who was otherwise reliable. You do understand my predicament, don't you? You tell him that you do. Nonetheless, these are the facts. To his question, did he reveal anything? You inform Boethius that in his death throes, the man spoke of a threat emerging from the wound. Not just the slug-like creatures that beset the glade, but something greater, something that would spell doom, or so he said. Noted, dear Vagrus, noted. I must say that is very troubling news, but this man, well, did you judge him to be of sound mind? No, you tell him, the man was not of sound mind. His emaciated yet lithe frame was covered in strange and painful tattoos. More importantly, the man had sway. He needed but shout and the warriors, presumably guards of the glade, rallied to him. The slave is to be taken seriously, regardless of how one views the situation. Yes, well, I very much doubt these were my guards. We keep them in pretty good company over here, you know. Anyway, I dare say you'd best speak to those folk from Scrapheap and get to the bottom of this. We'll need all the reliable sources we can in order to decide what comes next. Boethius considers you for a moment, taking a deep breath. His brow furrows and a frown takes him. The Philanus overseer steps towards a nearby mantelpiece and retrieves a small box. Look, what you did here is stupendous, he says softly. I want to reward you for it. Will you take these? He asks, holding out the box. It's nothing much, really, just some jewelry I had lying around. You take the box and stow it. Boethius smiles. We're getting closer. I can feel it, dear Vagrus. Feel it in my bones. Now we just need to confirm that what you found here from those bigwigs in Scrapheap. Talk to anyone you deem to be of sharp wit and good character. He meets your gaze. Baller calls blessing be upon you. All right, so we have to go to Scrapheap and talk to prominent figures. Ooh, rare jewelry. That's pretty valuable. We don't have any movement, so we might as well rest here. Normal resting. All good. Good. All right. Leave the settlement. And back to Scrapheap we go. Take a rest. Try to get some of our vigor back. Scornar's healing up. Slowly but surely. Alright. So, probably the Iron Tower. We would like to talk to Atia. Herself, her family, what she plans to do. What she thinks about the other candidates. How about Captain Vern? Aha! Ask the captain about the wretched wanderer Boethius spoke of. I could not notice him, frankly, the captain admits. Can't say we in the Iron Guard welcomed his presence. It very much looked like he was headed around the town, gathering up followers and preaching nonsense. Stuff about a savior, some new god. Something about dreams, too. Very strange. They were the worst kind of folk, too. Not criminals or degenerates, you understand, but slaves and poor folk. Oh, beggars and the like. Of course, what people do in Scrapheap is their choice, especially now. So we left them to it. Then this wanderer was beginning to build a sizable following, and, well, Decimus dealt with him. You ask Captain Vern what he means. Well, most of these folk are overseen by the likes of Decimus. Someone else was taking his marks, didn't sit well with the ex-capo, I imagine. So he got rid of the Wanderer and dispersed his followers, and that was that, he concludes. If he hadn't done it, then the Iron Guard would have, so to that extent we were thankful. There was something about that fellow, something not right. You ask Vern if Decimus Kaput killed the Wanderer. Nothing like that, no. He roughed him up a bit, he says, frowning slightly. Just saw to it that he'd never return to Scrapheap. Made it clear that his kind of preachy rhetoric about the downtrodden wasn't welcome here. Or so I've heard through my sources, Vern clarifies. Don't think we'll be hearing from him again. I haven't got a clue where he might be. He nods after you thank him, seemingly finishing the topic. Alright, so, maybe we go talk to Decimus about it? Maybe? Have we talked to the man before? Let's see, cauterization. Okay, so we have to question more people. So we looked in the Iron Tower. Let's go to the Market District. I don't know if I really care to talk to the Prince. Yes, so let's seek out Decimus Kaput. It is not difficult to find out where Decimus Kaput is holed up. His townhouse off the lane is known by everyone. One would be forgiven for believing that the building is a small fort. Its ground floor windows are barred and its entrance gate is reinforced. Its flat roof is encircled by a makeshift battlement. When you walk up to the gate and knock, a peephole opens and two guards ask you what you want. Once you state your business and who you are, they laugh cruelly and then tell you to get lost. No amount of convincing changes this, including your claim that a candidate should be open to queries from the town's denizens. Exasperated arguing with the guards, you decide to give up on this endeavor and turn to other matters. Well, we definitely need to talk to that guy. Find the odd leatherworker? Holy heck! Who's this guy? Even with the knowledge about the approximate location of the leatherworker in Scrounger's Lane, you have to look for quite some time before finding the small shop. Tucked away at the end of a snaking dead alley, As it is, a strong acrid smell hangs in the air around the place. You knock on the rickety door and enter upon hearing someone call out to you to do so. Inside, you take in the mess that has overtaken the chamber. All manners of tools, leather and hide hanging from the ceiling by straps, before coming face to face with its sole occupant. "Welcome, stranger." The fellow in front of you bears a striking appearance. His skin is rust-hued and his eyes are glowing yellow. Two small jet-black horns adorn his forehead, and his grin reveals pointed teeth. You realize that his presence makes you uneasy somehow. "They call me Fazamar. What can I do for you?" You introduce yourself and tell the demonkin man that you heard about a leatherworker in these parts. "That would be me," he admits, his smile never leaving his lips. "Have you heard of Ali Aburi, the shop of all things leather in the Emerald Haven of the Free Cities? My mentor, the renowned Khilaf al-Brazim, opened it a few years ago, bringing his astounding craftsmanship to the town. A part of my training involves traveling around as a journeyman, so I came here to the very end of the world to hone my craft with hides and scales, unknown to the rest of Zareen." You ask him if he has anything for sale. "Not as such," he admits with a shrug. "I came here to learn, practice, and explore, not to do business, though journeymen do that from time to time, to make ends meet, of course. But tell you what, I think we can, maybe work something out, provided you're one of those who goes up the mountain." You ask Fazamar to elaborate. I must have gotten like a hint about this guy, because I have no idea who this man is. "The reason for my stay in this particular shithole is that the mountains to the west are home to some truly peculiar creatures, the hides of which I desire for my work, of course," the demonkin explains. "I am especially interested in the skin of certain serpentine beasts." He sweeps a few tools off one side of a workbench with his forearm to reveal a small stack of cured hides. There's a subtle pattern in which the dark red scales on them come together. "Feel this," Fazamar says, guiding his fingers along the topmost hide. You follow suit and can immediately recognize how soft but sturdy the material feels. "Salamander skin," the journeyman tells you in an excited whisper. "Nobody has tried to make use of it, not in the way I'm planning to. Of course, that might just be because it's so hard to find, let alone get them to hand over their hide. I had to come a long way from the Free Cities, since this place is among the few in Zareen where one might find a fire salamander. Unfortunately, I'm a bit stuck now. Granted, I wasted a lot of time experimenting with all sorts of other skins from native creatures, but now I'd like to focus on the salamanders. If you were to say bring me some of their skin, I could fashion it into a cape for you, free of charge. Not that just any skin will do. I need some supple but hardy hides that you have seen here." You ask Fazamar what this cape would be like. "It would certainly protect you from the fire," he begins, rubbing his chin. "And according to my theory, it would awaken any inner fire in you too. That has to go to Nadir for sure. But until I can actually craft one, I am a bit hazy on the details, you understand. It's an experiment. However, I can guarantee the cape will display magical traits. That's the whole point of this exercise." The leatherworker rubs his hands together enthusiastically. "Do we have a deal?" You tell him that you will see if you can get your hands on any salamander skin. He nods in satisfaction. "Marvelous!" His smile never falters. "Until then, don't be a stranger either." Cool. Place an order for a salamander skin cape. We need 3 salamander skins. Interesting. I don't really need any dwarven runes. I could sell a valuable treasure. Why not? 48 more silver in my pocket. Maybe we should go... I don't need to comb the trash piles. Oh, Clavis and Agner are back. Fun. We should go to the Wraith's stash. Maybe Narbo knows something about the Wanderer. Yeah! Ask Narbo about the wretched Wanderer Boethius spoke of. His eyebrows shoot up when you ask Narbo about the Wanderer, and he leans in while the table creaks loudly. "Depraved son of a bitch, that wretched sod," he remarks with a measure of disdain. "Should have seen him, Vagrus. He was attracting the worst dregs in the stash, and that's saying something, innit? All kinds of came to this fool. Beggars down on their luck, underpaid and mistreated workers, the whole bloody lot." You ask Narbo if he interacted with the man himself. It certainly seems as though he got around whoever he was. "Don't let anyone like that in here. Would have told him to piss off if he come anywhere near me. What with everything on me plate.
He had him watched, of course, but we didn't really find out much. Like I said, the fool was surrounded by other dimmer fools, and none of them looked all right in the head. Good riddance, I say. Things could have gotten real ugly. Might still. Reckon you watch yourself round these types, partner. They can't be good for much, and no one in the stash favor wants to see these folks round here. Well, Kara might, but that's the one by and by. She's a real champion of the downtrodden. Figures, really, he says, his expression verging on a chuckle. You thank Narbo for his account, and he responds with a short nod and a crooked smile, just like you have come to expect. Talk about the downfall of Decimus Caput. Talk about the well diggers. That's right, we got a mission to take the well diggers up to the top of the mountain. So they revealed their hand in the end, Narbo says, chuckling. To you, of course, not to me. Isn't that odd? Even after so many years of working here, they deemed it better to trust an outsider such as you. No offense, of course, it's telling about them, and perhaps about me, more than it is about you. He waves his hand dismissively. But enough blathering, he says, becoming more animated. As for the prospecting, I'm sure their journeymen will know best where to look and what to do. I'd go to these places heavily armed, as there's no telling what lurks round sources of water. You ask him where to find the trainees the well diggers asked for. That should be your call. Oh, that's right, they want me to bring, like, magic people back. I mean, I've been cut off from the Empire for years. No idea to where to look for recruits. If I were you, maybe I'd look for people down on their luck who don't slink back from honest work. The spurned and the dispossessed. Someone who doesn't mind the heat, eh? Okay. Okay. Where on earth are you gonna... maybe we just run into fire salamanders? Still need to question more prominent figures. Narbo? Decimus Caput? Aha! So we can talk to Kara. Okay. We seek out Sable Kara in her chambers. You ask the barman where to find Sable Kara, and he tells you that she owns several rooms upstairs where the inn's bedrooms are. After ascending and being checked by the burly bodyguard, you emerge into a series of chambers that look like a brothel. Lit by crystal lamps and a low reddish light, the room reveals beautiful carpets, highly decorated curtains, and elaborately crafted vases with pretty flowers. Piles of colorful pillows, hookahs, and low tables laden with food and drinks. Scantily clad people canoodle, rest and eat in pairs or small groups. It is far from an orgy, but you can see the seeds of one sown in these very chambers. It is such a strong contrast to everything else in Scrapheap, you almost gasp audibly upon taking it all in. Like what you see? You turn to face a lithe woman of small stature whose lustrous dark hair and curious eyes immediately draw your attention. I'll apologize if I startled you, she says in a warm and surprisingly deep voice. I am Kara, often called Sable. It's the hair. She tosses her magnificent mane over one shoulder. How may I be of service to you, Vagrus? You inquire where she knows you from, and Sable Kara smiles kindly. I don't. We haven't been introduced, but I have my sources, she tells you with a mischievous smile. Don't be afraid, it's just that when a special individual and prime mover such as you appears in a backwater such as Scrapheap, people tend to notice. Since I make it my business to know things, well, I learned what I could about you and your people. Well, I mean, like, she lives in the place that Narbo runs. I'm sure she's seen us about. Nodding, you ask her if this is an independent establishment from the stash or part of it. Neither, actually, Kara clarifies. These are all friends having a good time. Hold up with me here until the election can conclude decisively. The proprietor is also a friend, so he allows us to stay here. Many of us have been subjected to awful treatment, so I've turned the chambers into my little oasis of peace and pleasure. You are also welcome, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So wait, we can just get in with the people and have a fun time? Interesting. Okay, let's ask her about the Wanderer. Sable Kara frowns a little bit before recomposing herself with her typical polite smile. Yes, came round the stash, that one, odd fellow. He had a host of characters with him, beggars, workers, slaves of all kinds, and they appeared to hang on his every word.
We had a little chat, the two of us, and it just so happened that we agreed on some things. Believe it or not, but there was something about him. After she trails off, you see Kara playing with a magnificent mane of hair absent-mindedly, so you give her a meaningful look which prompts her to elaborate. What I can shake the feeling is that, well, something was most certainly off about this character. There was an unnerving gleam in his eyes. His gaze drilled into me and through me like I was nothing, she admits before pausing. In the end, I made excuses, prompting him to leave. He did take a while to get the hint, though, which really makes me wonder who the damned fool was. I suppose you're looking into it, aren't you? She asks, a smile replacing her labored expression. Wherever he is, whoever he is, gods below, Vagrus, please see to it that he does not abuse the downtrodden in Scrapheap any longer. I can't help but to think his intentions were less than pure. You nod and thank Sable Kara for an account of the wretched wanderer. Let's ask her about Decimus Caput. It doesn't seem she knows anything about that, man. Oh wait, never mind. Kara rubs her chin thoughtfully. If you were looking for knowledge to obstruct Decimus, I would ask you, why should I help? It is one thing to compete against the other candidates and another to exploit their weaknesses in order to disqualify them. There are also risks involved for anyone who divulges anything should the disqualification fail. You tell her that he is a greedy bastard and his election should be prevented at all costs. You tell her that under the Campo things will never improve for the downtrodden. Oh dang, I don't want to kill him. Wise, Kara says with a smile, and convincing. Fair enough, I'll tell you what I know. It may not be enough in and of itself, but I'm certain that if you talk to others, it'll prove a useful piece of knowledge. You tell her that you are listening. Sable Kara steps closer to you and begins to whisper in a conspiratory tone. From her account, you learn that Decimus Caput has a lover, a man by the name of Oben, who used to work at the Iron Tower, but has earned his freedom and now lives in the Warrens. Kara is certain that Decimus visits him from time to time, under secrecy for his lover's protection. The Campo has many enemies, of course, and it is wise to keep his entanglements quiet. Oh! Do we like take his lover hostage? Which is kind of an insane thing to do, but welcome to Vagrus The Riven realms. Alright, looks like we have enough information to go back to Boethius now. So let's pick up a little more supplies, just so we don't starve. And then we leave Scrapheap. And then head back towards the Bountiful Glade. And we'll tell him what we know about the Wanderer. And then maybe next episode we can deal with the Wanderer. Perhaps. Man, it's so nice to be able to move really far again because we have our beasts of burden. Approach the camp. Oh, dang, the slug creatures are back. Ah, I hate these things. They're so creepy. Can't remember. Are there more? You guys are... You have thick skulls, so there's no point in trying to hit you. Oh, stun you, I should say. Let's boost Nadir again. Watch out for the big one. I've been grasped. Yep. Javik is useless. Ooh, good chain lightning hit. You did not die. Oh, that's right. You turn into like a corpse that may come back. All right, look out. I've been grasped. Nice crit. Wow. All right. Gotta kill the body. I guess we boost the front row because we can't do anything else. Did we get a swing in here? There we go. Killed one of the corpses. Burned the other two corpses alive. Asked that man a question. Hit him with the lightning bolt. He's gone. Good job. You're welcome, guards. Hey, we got some wood. That's fascinating. Neat. I could sell it back to them, but I won't. Whoops. We must go find Boethius. Report your findings to Boethius. Okay, you lay it all out. The prominent figures you spoke to in Scrapheap, Sable Kara, Narbo, and Captain Vern, had all heard of the man and did not find him to be a person worth having around. Indeed, Kara spoke to the entourage the Wanderer had formed, Narbo on the quality of the followers who chose to walk with him, and Vern about how Decimus Caput threw him out of town. All made some mention of the wound. The slave and his cult-like bodyguards are bad omens too. As you explain, Boethius nods receptively, until you are silent and he brings a ponderous thumb to his chin. This wanderer, clearly he was a force unto himself, he observes. I had thought reports of the ramblings about the wound and some greater purpose behind it to be preposterous, quite frankly, but now I hear from those in Scrapheap, well, it's a different, dear Vagrus. Jolly fine job, if I do say so myself. You are truly making the Bountiful Glade an even better place to be. You pause, the pause following the Overseer's declaration makes you ponder whether the corpulent man is being sarcastic. Sensing your confusion, he continues, this time in a more studious and severe manner. The wound is ostensibly the threat here. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but I'm afraid the only way to get to the bottom of this thing will be to investigate its treacherous interior, he says, holding your gaze. Then he looks away. I would send my own people, of course, but we get enough of those creatures in the perimeter. And besides, you're a fine candidate for the job. We've got this far, haven't we? You give him your answer and he rubs his chin ponderously. Prepare yourselves accordingly and then strike, he says, stifling a snicker. And as I am a man of my word, House Thalanus would like to offer you some of our manifold spoils. It's only fair, given what you've all achieved already. We'll get to the bottom of this. I just know we will, he says with an edge of faux heroism. Now, where was it? Boethius potters around for a while, calling associates and workers to him for assistance. After a time, a large amount of timber has been brought, along with other additions which the Thalanus Overseer is pleased to bequeath to you. I hope these are to your liking, he says, flashing an enigmatic grin. Please return when you can. I should like to better understand the peril that lies within the wound. You tell him that you will. As you may not have space for it, you inform him to collect the timber another time. Oh, cool. I have to remember that he has our timber. Ah, exactly. So we have 30 timber. We will come back to it. Okay, that's a great place to pause the episode. We will come back and go explore the wound next time. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more episodes of Vagrus The Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have your notifications on so you know when the next videos go live. But until next time, everybody, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!